The night everything changed. My name is Rebecca, and I want to tell you about the night that shattered everything I believed about family. It was my 32nd birthday, and what should have been the happiest evening of my year became the moment I finally saw the truth about the people I loved most. I had spent 3 months planning this celebration. Not just any dinner, but a reservation at Azure, the most exclusive restaurant in downtown Seattle. The kind of place where reservations are booked solid for months, where a single meal costs more than most people spend on groceries in a week. But I didn't care about the expense. After years of climbing from receptionist to regional manager at a tech consulting firm, I finally felt like I deserved to celebrate. I wanted my family to see what I'd accomplished, to understand that the girl who used to worry about paying for college textbooks had built something beautiful. I should have known better. The golden child and the forgotten sister. Growing up, I was always the responsible one. While my younger sister Emma got away with everything, I was held to impossible standards. When Emma failed a class, Mom would say, "She's just creative, she learns differently." When I brought home a B+, the question was always, what happened to the A? Emma was the artistic one, the free spirit, the one who needed protecting. I was the reliable one, the one who would always be fine, no matter what happened. Even as children, the roles were clear. Emma was the princess, and I was the caretaker. When Emma got pregnant at 19 with her daughter Lily, the family rallied around her. Mom took out a second mortgage to help Emma buy a small house. Dad worked overtime to pay for baby clothes and furniture. And me? I was expected to help too, even though I was struggling through my final year of college on student loans and part-time jobs. Family takes care of family, Mom always said. But somehow, that only seemed to apply when Emma needed something. The pattern of giving. After graduation, I moved to Seattle for a job opportunity. Emma stayed in our hometown with Lily, drifting between part-time jobs and romantic relationships that never lasted. The calls started almost immediately. "Becca, the rent is due and I'm short this month." "Becca, Lily needs school supplies and I just can't swing it right now." "Becca, my car broke down and I don't know what to do." Each time, I sent money. Not because I had it to spare, but because the alternative meant watching my sister and niece struggle. I told myself it was temporary, that Emma would get back on her feet, that this was what good sisters did. Years passed. My career flourished while Emma's remained stagnant. I bought a small apartment, then upgraded to a larger one with a view of the Sound. I learned to dress well, to carry myself with confidence, to speak up in meetings and command respect. Meanwhile, Emma continued to drift. The calls kept coming, but now they were accompanied by resentment. "Must be nice to have such an easy life," she'd say when I'd hesitate before promising to send money. Some of us have real responsibilities. Real responsibilities. As if building a career from nothing, working 60-hour weeks, and constantly sending money home wasn't responsibility enough. The credit card mistake. 2 years ago, I made what I now realize was a terrible mistake. During one of Emma's particularly desperate calls, I added her as an authorized user to my credit card. "It's just for emergencies," I told her. Real emergencies only. I thought I could trust her. I thought the guilt of using my money would keep her in check. I was wrong. The first month's statement showed charges at expensive boutiques, upscale restaurants, and a day spa. When I called Emma about it, she was defensive. Lily needed clothes for school, and I had to eat somewhere while I was shopping. And I've been so stressed, I thought one massage wouldn't hurt. I should have canceled the card then. Instead, I gave her another chance. And another. And another. For 2 years, I watched my credit card statements with a sick feeling in my stomach. Hundreds of dollars each month on things that had nothing to do with emergencies. Designer handbags. Concert tickets. Weekend getaways. But I kept paying. Because she was my sister. Because Lily was my niece. Because family takes care of family. Planning the perfect celebration. When my 32nd birthday approached, I decided things would be different. I would host a celebration worthy of everything I'd accomplished. I would invite my closest friends and my family, and for once, they would see me as I truly was, successful, accomplished, worthy of respect. I booked the private dining room at Azure 3 months in advance. I bought a stunning black dress, a sleek midi-length piece with subtle beading that caught the light when I moved. It cost more than I'd ever spent on clothing, but when I tried it on, I felt like the successful woman I'd become. I sent elegant invitations to my inner circle, my college roommate Sarah, now a successful lawyer, my colleague Marcus and his partner David, my neighbor Jennifer, who'd become a close friend. And of course, my family. Mom's response was lukewarm. It's quite a drive into the city, and parking is always such a nightmare. Emma was more direct. Azure. Isn't that the place where they charge $50 for a piece of fish? It's my treat, I assured her. For everyone. Lily will need something appropriate to wear. She can't just show up in jeans. I swallowed my irritation. Of course. I can send money for a new outfit if that would help. It's the least you could do, Emma replied, as if I were imposing by inviting them to a $1,000 dinner. The night of reckoning. The evening of my birthday, I felt radiant. The dress fit perfectly, my hair fell in soft waves, and my makeup was flawless. I looked in the mirror and saw a woman who had every reason to be proud of herself. The restaurant staff greeted me by name when I arrived. The private dining room was elegant, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city lights. Fresh flowers adorned the table, and champagne was already chilling. My friends arrived promptly at 7, bearing beautifully wrapped gifts and genuine excitement. Sarah hugged me tightly, whispering, "You look absolutely stunning. This place is incredible." By 7:30, we were seated and enjoying the first course. My family was nowhere to be found. I checked my phone repeatedly, trying not to let my disappointment show. Marcus noticed my distraction and squeezed my hand supportively. "I'm sure they'll be here soon," he said gently. At 8:15, just as we were finishing the second course, my family finally arrived. Mom entered first, wearing the same outdated dress she wore to every formal occasion. Emma followed, looking annoyed and checking her phone. Lily trailed behind them, 16 years old and sullen, wearing ripped jeans and a crop top that was wildly inappropriate for the venue. "Sorry we're late," Mom said, not sounding sorry at all. Traffic was terrible. The staff quickly reset their places and brought their appetizers while we continued with our meal. The conversation was stilted from the start. My friends tried to include my family, asking polite questions about their lives, but received monosyllabic responses. The contrast was painful. My friends shared stories that highlighted my accomplishments, asked thoughtful questions about my work, and created an atmosphere of genuine celebration. My family sat stiffly, contributing nothing but the occasional eye roll or snide comment. When Sarah raised her glass for a toast, her words were warm and heartfelt. To Rebecca, who has always been an inspiration to those lucky enough to know her. Your kindness is matched only by your determination. Others followed with similar sentiments. When it came to my family's turn, Mom simply said, "Happy birthday, sweetheart. 32 already. Where does the time go?" Emma lifted her glass reluctantly. To my big sister, always reaching for the stars while the rest of us stay grounded. Lily didn't bother toasting at all. The gift exchange. The gift opening segment was equally painful. Sarah and Marcus had collaborated on a beautiful leather portfolio with my initials embossed in gold. Jennifer gave me a weekend at a spa resort in the mountains. Each gift was thoughtful, personal, and accompanied by a heartfelt note. When I opened Emma's gift, I fought to keep my expression neutral. It was a drugstore candle, still in the plastic bag with the price tag attached. $12.99. Thank you, I said, placing it carefully with the other gifts. This smells lovely. We can't all afford expensive presents, Emma said defensively. Some of us have real expenses. The dessert course arrived, an elaborate creation of chocolate and gold leaf with "Happy Birthday Rebecca" written across the plate in flowing script. As the waiter described the components, I noticed Lily's expression darkening. She had been sullen all evening, but now there was something else in her eyes. Something calculating and cruel. The moment everything changed. As everyone admired the dessert, I felt a brief moment of pride. This was my life, the one I'd built through hard work and determination. For just a second, I allowed myself to enjoy it without apology. That's when I noticed Lily whispering to Emma, who smirked and whispered something back. Mom leaned in to join their private conversation, all three glancing at me with expressions that made my stomach clench. "Everything okay?" I asked lightly. "Just fine," Mom replied. Lily was commenting on how elaborate everything is. I turned to my niece, trying to bridge the growing divide. "I'm glad you could make it tonight, Lily. I know weeknight events are tough with your school schedule." Lily looked directly at me for the first time that evening. "Yeah, whatever. Must be nice to waste money like this when there are people who can barely afford groceries." The table fell silent. My friends exchanged uncomfortable glances. Marcus cleared his throat. "So Lily, Rebecca tells us you're interested in photography. That's such a creative field." Lily rolled her eyes. "Not everyone gets to pursue their dreams. Some of us live in the real world." "Actually," I said carefully, "I've been setting aside money for your college fund. There are some excellent photography programs that offer scholarships too." The silence that followed was deafening. This was news to everyone, including Emma, who looked suddenly confused and angry. "What college fund?" Emma demanded. "I started it when Lily was born," I explained. "It's not huge, but it should cover community college at minimum, possibly more with scholarships." Instead of gratitude, I watched three faces harden simultaneously. Mom pursed her lips. Emma's eyes narrowed. And Lily gripped her water glass so tightly her knuckles went white. "So you've been sitting on a pile of money while we struggled," Emma's voice had a dangerous edge. "While I worked double shifts and Mom had to help with rent." "That's not," I began, but Lily suddenly stood up. "I don't want your charity," she announced. "I don't need anything from you." "Lily, honey," Mom tried to intervene, but Lily was beyond reasoning. "She thinks she's so much better than us," Lily continued, her voice rising. "Walking around like she's some kind of queen because she has money. Acting like we should be grateful for her scraps." The restaurant had gone quiet around us. Other diners were staring now, drawn by the commotion. "That's not true," I said quietly. "I love you. I want to help because you're my niece and I care about your future." Lily grabbed her glass of cranberry juice, the non-alcoholic cocktail the restaurant had specially prepared for her. "You want to know what I think of your help?" she said, her voice carrying across the dining room. "You want to know what I think of your fancy dress and your fancy restaurant and your fake concern?" Before anyone could react, she threw the contents of her glass directly at me. The cold liquid hit my chest and splashed across my face, immediately soaking into the black fabric of my expensive dress. Dark red rivulets ran down the beading, staining it beyond repair. In the shocked silence that followed, Lily delivered her final blow. "Now you look as pathetic as you really are." The aftermath. My friends gasped. Jennifer half rose from her chair, but I held up my hand to stop her. The entire restaurant had gone silent. Every eye in the room was on me, the woman who'd just been publicly humiliated by her own family. I expected Mom to scold Lily, to apologize profusely, to acknowledge the cruelty of what had just happened. Instead, she patted Lily's shoulder. "I think we should go," she said, standing up. "Rebecca, this was all a bit much. You know how teenagers react when they feel out of place." Emma was already grabbing her purse. "We told you this place was too fancy. You should have chosen somewhere more normal if you wanted us to feel comfortable." I sat frozen, cranberry juice dripping from my ruined dress onto the white tablecloth. I could feel every eye in the restaurant on me, witnessing my humiliation. "It's fine," I heard myself say, my voice steady despite everything. "Thank you for coming." As they walked out, leaving me devastated in front of my friends and a room full of strangers, I somehow maintained my composure. I dabbed at my dress with a napkin, knowing it was useless. "Well," I said to my concerned friends, "I guess the evening's taking an unexpected turn." The reckoning. Back in my apartment, surrounded by my true friends, I finally allowed myself to cry. The dress was destroyed. The evening was ruined. But more importantly, the fantasy I'd clung to for years, that my family might someday see and appreciate me, had been shattered beyond repair. After my friends left, I sat alone in my living room, still wearing the stained dress. I pulled up my banking app and scrolled through years of transactions. The numbers were staggering. Tens of thousands of dollars, flowing from my accounts to support Emma and Lily. Then I opened social media and felt my blood turn to ice. Lily had already posted about the incident. A blurry photo of me with the stained dress, captioned, "When your rich aunt needs a reality check, face with tears of joy, #Sorinatsuri, #humbled, #fake family." The post already had dozens of likes, including one from Emma. In that moment, something crystallized inside me. The desperate need for approval, the willingness to be used again and again, the fear of disappointing people who had never hesitated to disappoint me, all of it fell away. I picked up my phone and made 3 calls. The first was to my credit card company. The second was to my bank. The third was to my attorney. The new day. I woke up the next morning with a clarity I'd never experienced before. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't worried about anyone else's financial crisis or emotional needs. I was free to focus on my own life, my own goals, my own happiness. The credit card cancellation was immediate. Emma discovered it that very morning when she tried to buy coffee and found the card declined. Her frantic calls started at 7 a.m. "There must be some mistake," she said when I answered. "The card isn't working." "There's no mistake," I replied calmly. "I've removed you as an authorized user." The silence was deafening. "You can't be serious," she finally sputtered. "How am I supposed to pay for things?" "The same way other adults do. With your own money." The explosion that followed was predictable. Accusations, guilt trips, threats, and finally, when nothing else worked, tears and pleas for forgiveness. But I was done. The transformation. Over the following months, something remarkable happened. Without the constant financial drain and emotional manipulation, I flourished in ways I hadn't imagined possible. I took the photography class I'd been putting off for years. I started dating again, no longer constantly available for family emergencies. I even bought a small cabin in the mountains, a retreat where I could escape and recharge. My family cycled through the stages of grief. Anger came first, with Emma calling me selfish and cruel. Then bargaining, with Mom trying to negotiate a compromise that would restore the financial support. Depression followed, with tearful messages about how much they missed me. Finally, slowly, came acceptance. Emma found a full-time job and moved to a smaller apartment she could actually afford. Lily got a part-time job at a local restaurant and started saving for a used car. Mom stopped calling every week with updates about their financial struggles and started asking about my life instead. The reunion. A year later, on my 33rd birthday, I received an unexpected text from Lily. I know I don't deserve it, but I'd like to see you. I have something to give you. We met at a small cafe near my office. Lily looked different, older, more mature, with the hardened confidence that comes from earning your own way. I've been working for 8 months now, she said without preamble. It's not easy, but I like knowing that what I have is really mine. She slid an envelope across the table. Inside were 20 carefully counted $10 bills. I know it's not much compared to what you spent on me over the years, she said, her voice shaking slightly. But I wanted to start paying you back. Not because I have to, but because I want to. I looked at the money, such a small amount, but representing something enormous. Lily, you don't have to. Yes, I do, she interrupted. What I did that night was unforgivable. I was jealous and angry, and I took it out on you. You were trying to help me, and I humiliated you in public. Tears were running down her cheeks now. I posted those pictures and videos because I wanted to hurt you. I wanted to make you feel as small as I felt. But all I did was show everyone what a terrible person I was. I reached across the table and took her hand. You weren't a terrible person, Lily. You were a hurt teenager who didn't know how to handle complex emotions. The fact that you're here now, trying to make amends, shows who you really are. I deleted all those posts, she continued. And I've been telling everyone what really happened. How generous you were, how much you helped us, and how badly I treated you. The new normal. Today, my relationship with my family is completely different. We see each other regularly, but on equal terms. Emma and I split dinner bills. Lily updates me on her college plans and asks for advice, not money. Mom treats me with the respect I should have received all along. The college fund I set up for Lily remains intact, but now she's earning scholarships on her own merit. She's applied to several universities with strong arts programs, and her grades have improved dramatically since she started taking responsibility for her own life. Emma has been promoted twice at her new job and is taking night classes in business management. She's dating someone who treats her well and doesn't seem interested in relying on her for financial support. Mom has joined a book club and started volunteering at a local literacy program. For the first time in years, she has interests and activities that don't revolve around managing Emma's latest crisis. The lesson. Sometimes the greatest act of love is saying no. Sometimes the hardest boundaries are the ones most necessary for growth. And sometimes family has to break before it can be properly rebuilt. I learned that I don't have to earn love through financial support. I don't have to accept disrespect in the name of family loyalty. And I don't have to sacrifice my own happiness to maintain the illusion of harmony. My family is stronger now because we relate to each other as equals, not as enabler and dependent. We respect each other because we've learned that relationships require mutual effort and consideration. The dress from that terrible birthday night hangs in my closet still, cleaned but permanently stained. I keep it as a reminder of the woman I used to be, desperate for approval, willing to accept any treatment in the name of family love. But more importantly, it reminds me of the woman I became that night. The woman who finally learned to value herself enough to demand respect from others. The journey was painful, but it led to something beautiful, a family based on love and respect rather than obligation and resentment. And a life where I'm free to be valued for who I am, not what I can provide. If you've ever found yourself in a similar situation, constantly giving to family members who take you for granted, know that it's never too late to change the dynamic. Setting boundaries isn't cruel, it's necessary. And sometimes, the people who resist those boundaries the most are the ones who need them the most. Family should lift you up, not tear you down. Love should feel like support, not exploitation. And you should never have to buy affection from the people who claim to care about you. The cranberry juice stain has faded over time, but the lesson it taught me never will. I am worthy of respect. I deserve to be treated with kindness. And I will never again allow anyone, family or otherwise, to make me feel otherwise.